Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teen safer as they grow, like making sure they always have their seatbelt on.
All right, buckle up. Good job.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Welcome to News from the Crabby Coffee Shop with your host, Dawn McClain, from the adventures of Bradley and Dawn on My Talk 1071, Garage Logic's newsman, Mr. FYI, John Haidt, and the crabbiest guy in the coffee shop, Kenny Olson.
How's everybody doing?
Doing great.
No problems.
Yeah.
Boy, that just seemed unenergetic.
Well, I've never had you ask me that. It was a weird thing.
You see right through me. You already know I don't care.
Right. Why are you asking?
Insincere Kenny.
I just wanted to give myself time to think about what I'm doing here and how I got in this position.
Okay.
And before we begin here, I need to establish something with the three of you. And this question's going to come out of left field. You'll figure it out later. But I want to know, the three of you, what are your true feelings about unicyclists? I don't know why that's funny. That's not supposed to be funny.
Because I think they're stupid.
Okay, that's good.
Especially the ones that are riding those huge ones.
Okay.
When I was going to college the first time around, there was a guy who had one of those big wheel unicycles that were, like 10 feet tall, and he would ride it around campus, but he wasn't a student.
Okay.
And then we were always like, how's he going to get down? How's he, there's a way. But, it was just kind of annoying and like, what are you trying to prove?
Okay, good.
There,
That's good. That's good. I wrote that down because we're going to get back to this. John, how do you feel?
I'm part of the 4% when they take the polls. I have no opinion on unicyclists.
You don't? Okay.
So
it's like they want attention, and also the ones with the big wheel, they want you to care for them. Like they want you to care for them, and I don't know you, and I don't care. I kind of want to see you fall.
Now I want to jump right to this story, but I can't because it's going to be a long road to get back to this.
Okay.
John, so when you see one, you just have literally no opinion.
I don't know if I've ever seen a unicyclist. Seriously.
Wow.
I saw a guy on stilts at Andover Fun Fest this past weekend.
You know what?
I have not seen a unicyclist.
That's the
category.
same. What did you think about the guy on stilts?
Well, I grinned at him, and then he was having fun with all the kids. He was giving them candy.
What was your reaction, John? I don't care about what he was doing.
Well, this is part of my reaction. He said, high five me. And he's 8 feet high.
Okay, that's hilarious. That just pisses me off.
Me too. I thought that was stupid as
Ross,
hell. So.
5 words or less.
I think they're nerds, and I get uncomfortable around them.
Yeah.
Nerds. Uncomfortable.
Yeah. And they also want you to worry about them, too. So it's like they really
I had no idea I was opening up this can of worms. But this is going to be really interesting when we finally get back to it. I want you to put all of that on a shelf. We're going to get back to it. But first, I have another question, this one for Dawn alone. And it might seem like kind of a shocking question.
Okay.
But I have to ask, Dawn, how's your bonus hole doing?
Bonus hole. Oh, well, that one is shut down. That one only has an exit.
Wow. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. No,
All right.
No tours to the bonus hole.
Okay.
I just went to the Badlands in, South Dakota, so there's a lot of caves. So
that's what I was.
Yeah.
I actually thought that this would be a great name for a place in like the Black Hills or Yellowstone. Swing by the bonus hole, plenty of parking. Anyway, the reason I'm asking that, it's due to a headline from last week, and the headline was, health professionals are now being told to call vaginas bonus holes to avoid offending trans people.
Oh, okay.
I saw this headline and I didn't bother clicking on it because it just reeked of bias right away. You can't trust any of the news you get. It's either from the far right or the far left.
Yeah, that's so true. God.
So instead, I Googled it. So I Googled bonus holes.
Oh, boy.
And I found this headline from the Pink News. It's also biased, but in the other direction. I know, the Pink News, right?
Okay.
And the headline here is, no, cancer charity isn't telling medical professionals to rebrand all vaginas as bonus holes.
Oh.
They say the charity was just making suggestions, so trying not to offend people, because as we know, being offended is very, very chic these days. So, and words really, really hurt, so we don't want to offend people. Anyway, all of this nonsense gets me to thinking about an old neighbor who she is now transitioned from female to male, and the hormones have made her very aggressive, or I guess him now, I'm sorry. I didn't do that on purpose. Very aggressive and angry. So back to the Google I go, and I Google, do hormones affect humor?
Oh.
Because I wanted to know. This whole thing, it's just had me fascinated.
Maybe you have too much testosterone.
Yeah, maybe does testosterone affect your humor? And is that why we need to come up with like bonus holes and all this funny lingo? I find a story from Science Daily, and it's here. I'm just going to read it to you. Humor appears to develop from aggression caused by male hormones, according to a study published in the Christmas issue of the British Medical Journal. And this is from, did I mention, from Science Daily, which I think is a legitimate publication. Professor Sam Schuster conducted a year-long study observing how people reacted to him as he unicycled through the streets of Newcastle.
Oh, my God. So we're not wrong.
What began as a hobby turned into an observational study after he realized that a huge number of stereotypical and predictable responses he received must be indicative of underlying biological phenomena. The study was an observation of people's reactions to sudden, unexpected exposure to a new phenomenon, in this case, unicycling.
Okay.
He documented the responses of over 400 individuals. Over 90% of the people responded physically, for example, with an exaggerated stare or a wave. Almost half responded verbally, more men than women. Here the professor says the sex difference was striking. 95% of adult women were praising, encouraging, or showed concern.
Whoops.
Dawn,
concern, see?
I don't think you showed concern. I think you're in the 5%.
I am, and I realize that I might, it makes me mad because I feel inside that I should show concern, like I'm worried, and then I'm like, why do I care?
Right.
Like, I don't care. Don't make me care about you who chose to get up on that stupid big wheel.
There were very few comic or snide remarks. In contrast, only 25% of adult men responded, as did the women, for example, by praise or encouragement. Instead, 75% of the men, they attempted comedy, all often snide or combative as a put down. Some of the responses from the guys, lost your wheel? Stuff like that, real stupid, bad.
Yeah.
And he goes on and on and on about how and he studied this in teens and everybody's, and how the females were much more subdued and whatnot. And I just thought about this, and I thought, oh my God, what would McLean's reaction be to a unicyclist? And I agree. Every time I see a unicyclist, I want to put a stick in the spokes and send them flying. For some reason, it doesn't make me think of humor. It actually makes me mad.
Yeah, it makes me mad.
Yeah,
It does,
makes me
and
angry.
I'm not sure why. Other than I just am psychoanalyzing the person. You got to be really, really off in left field, but not politically. I'm just saying the word left.
Just weird.
You just got to be weird to go, I'm going to do this. It's like people that decide to go out and do magic in public and nobody asks them. I can't stand magicians. You know that. I don't like magic. It's don't force your magic on me, and don't force your unicycle riding on me.
The guy that brings an acoustic guitar to a party or a bonfire.
God. Yeah, that's the same. That's the same. Don't force me to listen to your tune.
No, John, you don't do it. You don't do it unless everybody's asking for it. Then you break it out. Dawn, have you seen the West Bank junkies that ride around in the super tall bicycles?
Oh,
what they've done is they take a regular 10-speed.
Oh,
and then they pretty much weld another bicycle on top of that, but they remove the wheels. So now the bike is 2 bikes high.
Wow.
And the chain is really, 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 really long. It goes down to the bottom bicycle. And they ride around town trying to attract attention. And I call them junkies because this started in the West Bank about 25 years ago.
Okay.
And I was just in town 2 weeks ago. When was that failed meeting I had? 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I'm walking up the sidewalk between the Ag and I. That's down on 280 in a university in that big, tall building.
Oh.
Yep.
And this chucklehead comes riding down the sidewalk on this, I call them junkie bicycles because they came from the West Bank when junkies were a thing in the West Bank.
Where's the West Bank, by the way?
It's on the other side of the river, Cedar Avenue and Riverside Avenue.
Okay.
And it's kind of the West Bank campus.
Okay. Oh, God. Is it a school?
U of M.
Campus? Okay,
No,
it's part of the school?
it's part of U of M.
Oh, thank God, because I hate it when people call campuses to other things.
Oh, yeah,
it's the
it's a
West
church
Bank. Campus. Yeah. I'm like, stop! Why is everything a campus?
It's actually the West Bank. But what I did when I saw this guy is what I've done from the get-go. I looked the other way. I completely snubbed him.
I'm not going to look at you.
And he was looking right at me, waiting for the reaction.
See my big bike?
Yeah, and people on university slow down and look and point and take pictures. I give them the opposite. I just give them the back of my head. And
I noticed
maybe the finger.
You do that in situations, say at the state fair. If I say something to you that you have no interest in, you'll just look to your left and to your right. You'll keep smoking the heater and walk away. I'll keep that in mind next time I talk to
you. You found his tell, Johnny. He has a tell.
That's it. I know now.
Why would you ever ignore John? He's so sweet. Stop it.
This is all news to me. I had no idea. That's something that you've actually thought about before?
Oh, I guess not. Not until you just mentioned it.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh my
I want
God.
you guys to know that you might be in the lower end of things here because I just looked up unicyclists. There's cities that have programs that involve unicyclists, including Madison, Wisconsin. They have a whole website dedicated.
Burn it down.
Yeah.
They have a whole website dedicated to unicyclists.
Gasoline in a match.
Listen, I know it's a part of history and old timey stuff, but can we just keep it in the circus or I don't know, just out and about in public? I think it could cause an accident or, it's just why do you want this kind of attention? Is there any way we can funnel this desire for attention into something productive? It's just a weird thing like magic.
There was a family in my hometown, 3 boys, super athletic, really athletic, and A students, and really good athletes in all the sports. And they started in with the unicycles when I was a kid. And I went from not minding them and thinking, these guys are okay, they're into sports, to really, really just not liking them at all.
No.
And one was the quarterback and I was the center, so I had to deal with him, in the football. And he was a nice kid and not pretentious, not a mean guy, not in your face with his athletic abilities. But for some reason, when he picked up that unicycle, I stopped trusting him.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's not like they're coming from they're not bad people. There are a lot more people in the world that we should be wary of than unicyclists.
Absolutely. Yes, yeah.
But
they're at the top of my list, Dawn.
I just think I'm not mad at them. I'm annoyed by them. I think that's more. What I'm talking about.
There's no neutral. There's no coasting.
No.
The pedals are part of the axle. So, and then when you hold still, they can't just sit there and balance like you can on like when you're on a bicycle, you can actually hold still and you don't have to. But on the unicycle, it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, side to side, back and forth, back and forth.
Oh, you can't just sit and rest? I don't know. I don't look long enough.
And then when they go down a hill, they just go faster and faster and faster and faster, and they don't have brakes. So
it's a concussion waiting to happen, honestly.
You could only hope.
Yeah, and I've always kind of wondered how they get down because I can't, I've seen it, but it didn't stick in my memory because I just wanted to forget about it. Yeah. But I don't even want to find out. I'm not even interested enough to know, okay, that's how they do it. Nope. Don't care.
Same with the junkie bicycle riders. I have what do they climb up on top of a mailbox? And then how do they get down? Because it's like a 5 or 6 foot jump.
What I remember, I think this area that he would, cycle around in, this guy on campus, it was, I think he would just pull up to a tree, and lean it up against a tree. And then I don't remember what kind of mechanism he had to get down. Anyway, I hate thinking about this guy. I don't even know.
Would it be fun to see him just rocketing off that thing like he hit a rock or something and boom, off he goes.
Well, then I would have to then I'd have to feel bad and care about him. And I just want to yell at him and go, why did you get on that stupid thing in the first place? Like a mad mom, I guess. I don't know.
So after all of this, John, has your opinions changed? Do you now have an opinion?
I don't. I just.
That means you must be chock full of female hormones, according to the study.
All right, then. Okay.
You're halfway there to transitioning.
I'm half female.
You've already got a good start at it.
It's kind of late, though. I'm old. I don't.
Dawn, you're about to join my team.
Oh, sure. That's just evident. I mean, haven't we all thought of that?
Ross, you're all man. I hate to say it, and I've thought otherwise.
Come on.
But you're all man, buddy.
Yeah.
I also just realized with this how much I actually probably despise parades because I was thinking of other things that are in parades that I don't like.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Porsche Shriners on the little cars or whatever.
Oh, you don't like the go-karts?
It's not that I don't like that. I think it's the show that goes with it. They stop the parade so they can do their show. I'm like, just keep moving.
Keep it moving, guys.
What about the politician who always is walking at the very end of the parade because there's been horses and cattle in the parade?
Yes.
So the guy's always walking with a wheelbarrow and shovel, and he's got some funny joke. Oh, this is all politics. You got to scoop the shit up.
Oh my God! I've never seen that. Maybe because any parade I've ever attended, I've been in it. I'm not a parade spectator, so I don't know what's going on in the back of the parade.
I learned many years ago with my hometown parade, the best way to go to a parade is super, super, super high.
But then it lasts so much longer.
I had fallen down and I crushed all the bones in my wrist, right?
Oh, no.
And that was early June. And this doctor, I tried to go back to work, and then I had surgery, a whole bunch of steel put in, blah, blah, blah. I tried to kick the medicine right away. The doctor got really, really angry at me. He wrote a letter to work and said he's not allowed to go to work for a month. And then he said the funnest phrase I've ever heard him say to me. He goes, here's a whole bunch of pills. Stay ahead of the pain. So I just got, and it was oxycodone. Not Oxycontin, but it was oxycodone.
Yeah.
So it was the summer of love for me.
Yeah.
And I sat at that parade.
You watched parades?
I sat at that parade in town, and it was just the most delightful thing I have ever done in my whole life. It was absolutely wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
I got to drive a car like Ross hates in a parade in Bismarck when I was a DJ there, but it was a Saturday morning parade, and Friday night had been long. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. So I had about an hour sleep. We had a blast. We it was like three of us from the station. Just,
oh my gosh!
I have pictures from it where I look like a bum, like a street bum who just came off the street.
Did you up chunk at all, Johnny?
No, God, no.
Good for you.
Oh, wow. Well,
that's Summer of Love, by the way, Dawn, and then we can change subjects. I also watched, when I was heavily under the influence, the Duke Boys. What is the movie? What's the TV show?
Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah,
Duke Boys.
A movie came out.
Don't Google that. I mean, you'll probably wind up on some lists.
Yeah.
A Dukes of Hazzard movie, and I believe Johnny Knoxville was in it.
Okay.
And
sure.
Oh yeah, the reboot, right?
This was the best movie I had ever seen. Oh my God. I was laughing. I was crying. There were ups, there were downs, there were ins and outs. And 6 months, maybe a year later, I decided, you know what, that was a good movie. And of course, by now I'm completely sober and healed and everything's fine.
Sure.
And I got to watch that movie again. That was really good.
I don't know if you'll have the same feelings about it.
No, I didn't last 5 minutes. It's the worst piece of crap ever put on film. Seriously.
Oh, boy.
All right. We all of us had I don't know about you, Ross, but the three of us had a little bit of a vacation last week. So we want to come back after this little break and talk about our next vacation.
Every kid deserves the opportunity to attend a ball game, visit a theater, or go to the zoo. At Tickets for Kids Charities, we make that possible for 40,000 local kids each year. Learn more and make a tax-deductible donation of cash or tickets at ticketsforkids.org today.
I had a brilliant idea last week, John. Before we get into this vacation thing, can I buy this song from him? I want to own this. I want to own the rights to this song.
Well, I'm sure he'd be happy to send you a copy without.
No, I need.
Oh, you
own
want the rights?
I want to own it because I can make this song a big hit. I know I can. I know the right people. I can get this song on the air.
I'd have to talk to him, and then, of course, the other fella who co-wrote it with him.
Right.
So I'd have to talk to the two Dylans.
It makes me mad when I hear this because this is a #1 hit.
Yeah, it's a really great song.
This song will take the country by storm. And the other Dylan, not your Dylan, is I don't. I'm so angry.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
So I want to buy the song. I want to buy the song.
I'll mention it to him and see what he has to say. He'll probably want a few thousand.
At least he should ask for way more than that. I
would advise him to ask for at least.
I'd bid up to $10,000. That's where I stop.
Wow.
Okay.
But it's 100% Kenny's song. You can play it all.
You the rights.
Oh, here we go.
Speaking of last week, I spent a weird amount of time thinking about you, McLean.
Yeah.
Because you went to one of my favorite spots in the whole wide world, the Black Hills.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that go? First of all, and I don't know anything about it. Did you take the whole damn family, or was it just you and MC?
It's just me and MC. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. So we stayed in Keystone, and that is 0.2 miles from Rushmore, the closest town. We could see Mount Rushmore from our hotel.
Isn't that neat?
Up on a hill, just two of the guys, but it's wow, this is incredible. We had a great time. We went on the 1880s train, which was your suggestion.
Yeah.
That was so great, except for the lady who was constantly on the microphone. We're like, oh my God.
I know.
Lady, just can we have some peace? It's an hour ride there and back from Keystone to Hill City.
Hill City, yeah.
And then we went on to...
Wait. What did you do anything cool in Hill City?
No, we actually didn't. We just went on to Deadwood.
Okay.
From there.
That's my spot of my favorite spot. When I stay in the Black Hills, I always stay in Hill City.
Oh, okay.
I've stayed there 3 times. I really like Hill City.
We should have spent more time there because we did not like Deadwood.
Remember I warned you.
God, it was awful. It's so stupid. It's stupid. It's too touristy. And we were just, by the end of it, we just kind of were felt gross because all these little shops were exactly the same shop. touristy shops with T-shirts, and there were so many political T-shirts that it made us just really turned off. We're like, for a bunch of people who make fun of the other group's feelings, they sure do have a lot of feelings that they got to put out.
Very
you know
sensitive.
what I mean? I'm like, wow, they got to really express their feelings.
What was the demographics of the tourists there? Was it all crackers, or did you see some Chinese people and
people
whatnot?
of color? I think a few, but most of them were in their motorcycle costumes.
Which is the perfect way of saying
it's a costume, guys. That is a costume.
Yes,
it
totally.
sure is. They do drive motorcycles, but it is absolutely a costume.
Thank you.
Yes, and I love it. I'm like, oh, look at her costume. Look at his costume. And I would just say it out loud.
Oh, my God.
I said,
so
I like your costume to someone.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, you're my hero.
But, they didn't really get it, but it was fun for me.
Shocking.
And then MC got a haircut in Deadwood. He needed a haircut before we left, and I didn't have time because I cut his hair usually. And so he's been doing these vacation haircuts where he'll just go to a random place.
And let me guess what he does.
What?
When they start asking all the questions, he just makes something up completely.
Yes, he does. And then he
Yes.
really likes to try out his jokes on random people because he's just so full of and get them going on things. And I just sit there and go, oh God, oh my God, we are spending part of our vacation in a salon or a barber shop, which is always entertaining because I met 4 people in that barber shop that I know by name. Like, well, I'll get to you after Janet. And I'm like, okay, her name's Janet. And then okay. And then this other lady came in just to sit and make an appointment. But she was just there for her daily visit, I think. She just comes by because he went to a place where it wasn't a barber. We couldn't find a barber in Deadwood. So anyway, that was a fun part of it. And then, I mean, that's kind of silly.
That's a small town deal where you just walk in. It's like hanging out at the hardware store.
Yeah.
You hang out at the barber shop.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we spent, the best part of it was going to Hot Springs, South Dakota.
Yes.
Because I went to the mammoth site, which is where all of these mammoths fell into this huge sinkhole lake and died over, 190,000 years ago to 140,000, like 50,000 years of, there are 65 mammoth skeletons in there.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. And it's an active dig. Totally go there. And then we went to in Hot Springs. I've always wanted to get into Hot Springs, like into the springs.
Oh, sure.
And so through the middle of the town, you guys probably know, the water it's hot.
Bubbling,
It runs through the town and it's warm. You can get down in there and, they're like, hey, you can get down. We went to the visitor center. They're like, all this water, it never freezes. It's 90 degrees. But we went to an official spa place that had 4 pools, and they're huge pools. One is 87 degrees. Then you swim through this arch, and this has algae in it and rocks. It's not like a chlorinated thing.
It's like a pond.
It is, but it's all structured, so it's not like, there aren't snakes getting in there or anything.
I was going to ask, snapping turtles?
No, there's nothing like that. It's it's enclosed, and so it's 87, then it goes to 95 degrees, and then you get out to another pool that's a 102, and then the other one is 106.
Oh.
And so you got 3 hours there. It's only $27, and it's called Moccasin Spa.
I have a sensitive question. Are they all the people there? Are they beautiful people, or are there people?
That's what makes you feel great. You're we all look like horrible.
Me.
Yeah. No. And the best thing about it, not just the mineral, it's mineral spas are supposed to be healing to the body, and it was just so nice because you weren't allowed to talk.
What?
Yeah, so when people would start talking, you can only whisper. So it's supposed to be relaxing and quiet. So there are about 30 people in there at a time. They do 3-hour sessions. And there was a woman who would walk around that said, quiet, please, with a sign whenever people started to be like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to the saloon tonight? But it wasn't even that. It was stupid conversations that you could have anywhere. That's what made me mad about him. You could talk about this when you're walking through Walmart. Don't talk about this as as you're relaxing in a hot spring and you're bothering us. This guy with a bunch of tats that doesn't look really good. They're not great. And he's like, I'm like, I should not hear any voices. So anytime someone is the school marm and comes around and tells people to shut up is my favorite place to be.
That's like what do they call them? Rangers at the golf tournaments that walk around with the signs that say quiet, please.
I love
Shushing
that.
people.
It was great. And then we went through Wind Cave National Park. We also went to the Badlands. It was just beautiful. We saw buffalo, pronghorn. I've never been to the Badlands, so it looks like Mars. It's unbelievable. And you can see, I love about South Dakota, and I'm sure North Dakota too, John, is that you can see I don't know if it's 20 miles, 100, but it's just goes on forever.
See,
those prairies.
I spent so much time up there. I kind of disagree with you. I think it's too much sky. It's too damn much sky. It's oppressive. It's the sky just pressing down on you. It's unforgiving, and it's there just on top of you. You're in the sky. There's so much sky.
I just focused on the prairie. I was like, what a beautiful sky up there on this prairie. You agree, John? You don't like the big prairies?
I don't. When I drive back, it drives me nuts. And when I was a kid, we used to have this deal. If we'd leave town and go on vacation, we'd come back. We would swear we could see the Capitol in Bismarck from 60 miles away.
Right.
Yeah.
We could.
You can see.
I don't know what this perspective is. I don't know how far it is to look out.
You can see the curve of the earth.
It's really amazing.
It's ridiculous.
It makes me feel so good because, as you know, I like wide open desert because I can see my enemies coming. That's why I like it. It's like, wow, that guy's going to come and get me, but I have a lot of time to get away. Or some type of an animal,
Like the damn antelopes when you're driving down the road and they're standing there and you think, oh, this is going to be awesome. And they see a mile away and they run away.
Yeah. Trying to get a picture of a pronghorn was like, wow.
I disagree with you on the Badlands. I think it's the backside of South Dakota. I really don't like the Badlands.
You don't?
No, it's hot and it's ugly and it's unscenic and
we got
angry.
really lucky.
You could die.
Oh, yeah, you could die. But that's fun to have that danger, looming. I loved the weather because I thought it was this way all the time. But we got lucky. It was 65 to 70. It never went over 73 degrees the whole time we were there for 5 days.
You're so lucky.
It was. And it did rain off and on, but still, it's it's just amazing. I can't wait to go back.
Did you pull into the monument president thing?
Yes.
So you saw all that?
We did. We went in. We actually did that at night. They have a night presentation.
That's perfect time to do it.
So we got there at about 8:30. You can still see it, but then a park ranger starts a presentation at 9 in that big amphitheater that's there, outdoor amphitheater. And it was, 4th of July week, so there were a lot of veterans there, and it was really beautiful. He did a whole talk on the guy who never gets any credit, which is the guy who thought up Mount Rushmore. His name is Doan Robinson, I think.
Oh.
And his story is really interesting. This park ranger was like, I really wanted his name to be out here, because he thought it up. He got in touch with the artist, and the artist changed it to be presidents. Because he just wanted to do Lewis and Clark and some of the Wild West people.
Sure.
And so this guy, he talked to him for a year through mail. And then he got there and he goes, I'm not Borglum. He was like, Borglum. I'm not doing that. We're going to do presidents. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he was sort of shut out of everything after a couple of years when they created a committee. And this poor guy that invented the idea and started it was shut out. And so I really love the fact that his name was being broadcast.
Finally.
This Doan guy was being broadcast out into the forest and right above the monument, just every night, he's talked about on a grand scale. And then they did a really beautiful presentation with military, and people were crying because it's it's just
sure, if you have family,
really patriotic and
very much so.
Yeah. So it was. Oh, I can't wait to go back. There was too much I didn't get to see.
What I like about Borglum,
I think.
Borglum?
I think there's an L in there.
what I like about him is he's a quitter. He gave up. And that's what I do in all my projects. That monument was supposed to have the waist and the legs, too. And at one point, he just said, you know what, F this, I'm out of here. And he just split.
After a bunch of people who were doing the hard work passed away.
Right.
Oh, man.
Right. Yeah, there was a couple of deaths per day. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We just didn't care about human life. Did you make it over to Crazy Horse?
We did not.
Okay, that's your next trip.
Yeah.
Because Crazy Horse is really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I had so many different opinions on it, and my boyfriend has been to Crazy Horse, and he's like, because it's just not being finished. Which I read the story about it. And
yeah,
I'm
it
like,
won't be finished in our lifetime or probably the next lifetime. And that's the only thing that kind of makes it. I wish he'd accept money.
Yeah.
Because,
they don't accept money?
The government money, funding.
That's
donations they'll accept.
Oh, but they won't accept any funding from the government?
Right.
Take that money. I get the principle, though.
I want to see it finished.
Yeah, I wish they would, because my thought was, why doesn't the government step in and make sure this gets finished? And I guess there's a reason, just because of the white man. And,
yeah. And you can't blame them. So then I'm guessing you did not go over to Devil's Tower.
Well, no, too far away this time.
This is good because now we have your next trip
Exactly,
planned.
Yeah.
And did you drive that highway that goes through the Black Hills?
Needles.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Custer State Park. I really wanted to be able to. I'm reading Black Elk Speaks, which is just a famous book about Black Elk, who was the nephew of Crazy Horse, and he was a shaman and had all of these visions and predictions. It's a really famous book. A girlfriend that I have from from college, that was her great grandfather that wrote the book, John Neihart.
Cool. Wow!
And I always thought, oh, cool, yeah, your grandpa's pretty famous. But now I really know how famous he was.
It's a really, really big deal.
Really big deal, and it's just it's known as one of the most important religious texts of our time because it's all Native American, Sioux tradition, Lakota tradition, and so there's a mountain where he had his vision, and I cannot get up that mountain right now in my life because I knew it's like, oh, this is a strenuous hike. I ruined my knee in Colorado, not ruined it, but I really had an awakening about how old I am.
You need a disability
and how I need
scooter.
To be,
you're
I need
old
to be
and crippled up. Yeah.
Unless I can change, I think I have arthritis in my knee. I went to a physical therapist. Anyway, right now I'm not able to do that hike, but I want to be in shape enough to do it because I want to really go up there. It's amazing.
There's both really cool Native American radio station and TV station there. I'm hoping you discovered one or both of them. That every time I'm in that area, I right away flip it over to this radio station because it's just it's really cool programming.
We did not. We kind of always keep it on Sirius, or a CD.
Sure.
John looks confused, like he can't hear.
Are you guys having any problems with the sound right now? I'm getting a lot of
no.
weird noises.
We sound great.
No.
Every time you guys talk, I can't hear you because there's a bunch of buzzing.
Oh.
It's
Boss, will you send me
digitizing.
another thing, please?
Sure.
I'll just disconnect.
Disconnect and come back in with the link.
Meanwhile, Dawn, have you explored the history of the, to put it politely, the acquisition of the Black Hills from the Native Americans, and how
super depressing.
How it was theirs, and it was stated so in the Laramie Treaty. And at one point, there were gold prospectors in the Black Hills, and we actually, the United States, chased them out.
Yes,
we enforced the Laramie Treaty, but then something happened, and and this is after the Civil War, and we decided, and they sent, of all people, George Custer in there to pretty much act as a spy.
Oh.
And he went in there with gold prospectors, and sure enough confirmed the fact that there's a lot of gold in the Black Hills, et cetera, et cetera. And once that was leaked to the general public, then there was just no controlling it at all.
It's gross.
And eventually we just took it over.
Yeah, that's the only thing about going to this area. It's so beautiful, but I felt a real sense of guilt over, well, just in general. I have so much so many feelings about what we've done to Native Americans.
So do I, but I no longer feel guilt, but I have studied the Native American plight from basically the second that we arrived on the shores of, the East Coast, all the way up until the early 1900s. And I understand that feeling, but there's nothing we can do about it.
I know. We can try to help. There are things with national parks where they are giving the land, the control of the land back to Native Americans because they know what to do with it.
Yes.
There's a huge problem with wildfires because the Native Americans for thousands of years knew how to control the forest so it wouldn't burn down. And currently, we've got out-of-control wildfires, especially in Yosemite and in the Mariposa Valley where those big sequoias are, that are 2,000-year-old trees they just lost 700 of them last year.
Right.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Because what has happened is that the fires are burning so hot because none of this, there hasn't been controlled burning like the Native Americans have done.
Right.
And it's kind of the fault of Teddy Roosevelt, who said, leave all of this alone and don't touch it.
Right.
Do not touch the forests.
Right.
But we need to maintain them. And Native Americans did that for years.
It's been a big controversy right here in Minnesota with the boundary waters, whether or not they should clean up the deadfalls, et cetera, and all that. And the natives, it was twofold for burning the prairie. It was to move the herd around because they relied on the herd, and there was yearly hunting every year of the herd where they'd gather and hunt and then go back to their other grounds. And, of course, it revitalized and reinvigorated the prairie.
Yeah, that's exactly what you have to do. And so now they're learning this, unfortunately, because of these, fires are hotter now and they burn longer. And, the flames are above the sequoias. Right. And so it's burning the top of the trees where they're not protected because those huge trees that you can drive through, there's something about the structure of them that keeps, it's 10 feet of bark that you have that's resistant to fire.
Isn't that amazing?
It's so amazing. I've just been learning about it. But at the top are those tender parts of the bark where if it lights up there, it melts from the inside. And that's just terrifying. The poor park rangers there they live in just terror that these trees are going to burn.
So speaking of parks, you've got to plan this for your next trip. This bastard Custer's Last Stand, the Little Bighorn River. It's in Wyoming, just south of Montana, north of Sheridan, Wyoming. And you can go there and tour it, and you can actually drive along this long, 3 to 5 mile ridge, and through plaques and papers and everything else, you can study every single second, every minute of the battlefield. And it's really cool.
Yes.
And you see everything, and you're looking down these hills across the Little Bighorn River to where this the biggest village of Native American huts, houses, teepees, or whatever in the history of our time existed down there. And it's native land right now, and it's a hellhole. And which you see a lot in the reservations. And I've been there 3 times now because it's just irresistible to me, and I really hate Custer. It just makes me feel great. But my question has always been, can't we do something to help the tribe there? I would really love to see that village recreated because it was so massive. Yeah. And Custer didn't stand a chance. And his men knew this when they saw this village. They're like, nah, I don't think so, Georgie boy. Yeah. And Georgie's like, nah, we're going in. And then he got his ass handed to him, rightfully so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hubris, exactly. Yeah. And every time I go there, I think the same thing. Why can't we recreate or help them recreate that village? And I think it would go a long way for Americans to see and learn about Native American culture.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree.
It'd be so awesome to go down there and see what that village was like.
Yeah, or just not. Just have them, just have it. It's yours. It belongs to you.
Yeah.
Wow. There was something else that I wanted to bring up about the Black Hills. Just all of the artwork. I don't buy anything that isn't native made. It just creeps me out.
Yeah.
Not only did we steal your land and, just kill off almost all the buffalo and all the other horrible things that we did. But now we're going to take your art and we're going to profit off of it.
Right.
No, thank you.
I think there's a deal with pipestone. The actual stone. It's called pipestone. It's red. John, can you hear us now? Are you back?
I can.
Okay,
yes.
good.
So this quarry, this ancient quarry in southern Minnesota, I believe, and I hope I've got my facts straight, can only be quarried by Native Americans, and white people are not supposed to own this stuff. But you can buy it, and I have, from Native Americans.
Oh.
So I've got like this pipestone peace pipe and a couple of other pipes made from pipestone. But like you said, I purchased them from Native Americans.
Yes.
So that kind of assuaged my whatever white guilt I might have.
Right, exactly.
Did you do any of the normal tourist trap stuff along the way? Did you see the House of Corn?
I did not do the Corn Palace because I heard it was a waste of time.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
stupid.
Corn Palace.
It is.
We did go to Wall Drug, and I was so mad when we pulled up.
Oh, great. Why?
Okay, because you have all of these signs, and in my mind,
Yes.
it's like
Yes.
I imagined it being like the Candy House down in Jordan or whatever it's called.
169.
So
right.
I thought it was going to be a big structure outside of like a strip mall. This is like, I go, no, this isn't it. Like, we pulled around the corner, and MC was like, all right, here. I'm like, no, that's not it. And he's like, yeah, it is. It's really big in there. I go, not big enough. Because this has been built up in my mind now with 1,000 billboards. And then...
right, like seeing the castle at Disney World or something. You really think you're going to see something, right?
Uh-huh, yeah.
it's
And
just
then I'm like,
a
wait a
building.
minute. Yeah, it's big inside. I don't know how many square feet, but... It's not, no.
It's a gift shop.
It's a big, it's fine. It's fine. I understand there's really nothing to look forward to, as you're driving through. So it's like the stop that, oh, yay, we're here. But it's really because you've been deprived of anything for so long that you think it's good. It's like, wow. Yeah, but I was like, oh, God, there's like a gold diggers thing across the street. It's just like, it's right. It's too small. It's too compact. Like, I know there's history to it. And then I'm like, oh, God.
Take that disappointment, times it by 2 for when you get to the Corn Palace.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Ross, I think times 10.
Oh, let me talk about, it's not really nice to do this, but I'm going to anyway.
Yeah.
There's a place that's advertised even more, and it's in Rapid City. It's called the Firehouse Brewery and Restaurant.
I don't know about this one.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, so on the way, this restaurant has purchased, I would say, we saw maybe 50 old fire trucks that every place there's a billboard.
Yes,
there's an old fire truck.
Of course,
and you're
yes,
just like,
I have
how do
seen
they
it.
have this much money? Wow, this is unbelievable. So we did go there, and it was the worst meal I've ever had. The worst.
That's
and
why.
we even, we never ever complain about anything, but we were so pissed that we went to Rapid City to go to this place, and it was so bad that... we weren't expecting, we just, MC complained his burger was awful and he just wasn't eating it. I had a patty melt that was pretty bad, just so plain. And anyway, so he was like, I'm sorry, but this is the worst burger I've ever had. So and he's like, it's nothing to do with you. You're very sweet. And we tipped her big, but she had the manager take the meals off. So we just paid for our drinks.
Actually said that.
He did. And
wow,
I was like,
that is
whoa.
Ballsy. Wow.
But he wasn't like an angry, take this back. It's the worst.
He does not. I've met him a bunch of times. He does not seem like that person.
He isn't. And he goes, I hate being this person. I hate it. I'm like, dude, if you can't even eat it and it's cold, like the mashed potato ball that they gave him, it was like cold.
Ball.
It was like something that had been frozen, I think, and then thawed, but not all the way. So it was literally cold. The burger was like a pressed thing you get off the, some meat truck that, it just wasn't what the level, like all the fire trucks that they bought and the billboards. How about put some money into the food you're serving? There you go. So don't waste your time.
So with that in mind and Wall Drug and the Corn Palace in mind, would you ever consider for a week or more going on vacation to the worst hellholes in America?
Oh, I don't know if I want to waste my money or time, but go ahead.
Instead of being duped into it like you kind of are in South Dakota, would you do it on purpose?
I mean, if I had a lot of money and it was going to profit me in some way, like I did a podcast or some type of a,
What's the worst place you've ever been in your entire life in the United States?
Oh, my gosh. Worst place. The Firehouse Brewery and pub.
You just had it. It's fresh on your mind.
It isn't, but I can't think of anything right now.
For me, and it's in this story, I've got a story here. U.S. Census data reveals the most miserable cities in America. Mine made the list. It's New Haven, Connecticut.
Oh, really?
Where Yale is.
Oh.
An unbelievable hellhole. The entire downtown city was boarded up. And we were there with a band, traveling separately, but with a band. And we had to have somebody sit outside with the vehicle to protect it from thievery as the band was playing. Yeah, we all took turns going outside and sitting with the vehicles. Kind of like it was like at CBGB's in the Bowery of New York before the Bowery turned hip and clean and cool.
Right.
Yeah, really.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Wow.
In this list, Dawn.
Yeah?
And you got to really scroll deep. You've got to get deep in the tabs, as Lori Barghini says. Springfield, Missouri.
It is?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I saw St. Louis, but I must have not gone that far.
I think you went past it if you made it to St. Louis. I was surprised about St. Louis, but Springfield, Missouri is in there.
St. Louis. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what does it say?
I'm looking for it now.
Yeah.
What the big surprise for this list to me was the amount of cities in California and almost all of New Jersey.
I know.
New Jersey.
Yeah, California. Yeah. There's so many. Wow, I want to see what it says. This is hilarious. I don't think, just because I'm from there, it doesn't mean that I love it. I mean, I'm obviously here.
But you've been saying this forever, and I've been like, what? It can't be that bad. And then I drove through it, and it was like, there's a lot of dead armadillos, but I don't see what the problem is. But it's poverty, and it's jobs, and crime, and like you said, a lot of meth.
Yeah, a lot of meth.
It's the usual stuff, and it's pretty much the same story for all these awful cities.
Oh, yeah.
The worst I've ever been in is on the list.
It is?
And that was Fayetteville, Arkansas. In just Arkansas in general, driving through it was depressing. Oh, it was so depressing.
Once you pass over the border into Arkansas, you can tell.
I wish I knew that. I would have gone there because I went to Missouri hoping for absolutely the worst. I thought it was going to be the biggest asshole on the planet.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised. It's a lovely state. I didn't have any problems. I really want to see a hellhole.
Yeah.
Well, when you start driving into Arkansas, the first thing you see is all the little wooden shacks that are built into the mountains.
That's what I want to see. Yeah.
You look and you go, that's weird. And again, you said dead armadillos. There's a lot of dead armadillos in Arkansas too. And you keep going. I had to stay in Fayetteville for a couple of days.
Oh boy!
And it was
like a court of law thing? Were you under arrest?
It was actually a fun deal. My father-in-law, my late father-in-law, went down there for a convention of Iwo Jima veterans.
Oh.
And it was in Fayetteville, and we stayed there for a couple of days. But aside from the convention, I can't say there's much about Fayetteville I enjoyed.
I will say that it's the fact that that the education there is one of the worst. I think it's the worst in the country. Like the level of education,
right?
And there's so many homes that it's like if it's a little shack, I'm fine with that. You have a little home, that's fine. But why is there all that junk in the yard? It's like a junkyard in every, like you pass over the border and all you start seeing are little shacks with so much S. It looks like an apocalypse happened and people just left.
And there's no organization to the junk.
It's really depressing.
It's like I have a burning piles and then I have a scrap metal pile, but these guys, it's just all mixed in as one.
Yeah.
And it's their front and back.
Yes,
over there,
it's so true. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Wherever that truck dies is its new home forever and evermore.
And my sisters were nurses, and in Springfield, labor and delivery and intensive care nursery, like the tiny babies, and So
sure.
My sister Tina used to be a helicopter RN, a baby nurse who they constantly had to go down to Arkansas and get these tiny babies because of lack of education and nutrition. And actually quite a few that were like literally one of the girls who had the baby, they're like, oh, well, who's the father, and there's a guy sitting right there, and she goes, well, Billy is, which is her brother.
Oh, damn.
That's not uncommon. Like, they're like, well, Billy is, and just like some of the sickness that just could be prevented by being more sanitary in general. Just, it was, it's like, okay, we're going down to Arkansas. It was like, we got to airlift people from Arkansas. And it's just a big difference between education and healthcare. And, that's a state problem. That's like a government problem. Really.
Inbreds really make me uncomfortable. There's a delicious story about this inbred family.
Don't say delicious.
In West, well, I mean, if you're in our business.
Yeah.
I think it's West Virginia. And there's been a documentary made about
the Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
Yeah. And I can't even, I started watching it. I didn't even make it 3 minutes. I had to shut it down.
That is a fantastic, if you want some good old-fashioned hillbilly to the 10th degree, watch that.
And one more thing about this list, and this is just for John. One of the cities on this list, John, did you notice? Harlingen, Texas.
I did. I noticed it right away.
We have a GLer who's let me air quote this because it might not be true. GLer that's a frequent caller and contributor to the program that calls. He lives in Harlingen, Texas.
Oh, okay. Texas. I didn't know you guys took phone calls.
Yeah, only if they come from within the building. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I'm so naive. Why didn't I get that? Yeah. I said it out loud.
So before we go, have you ever been in a city where you've been scared to death and you thought, oh my God, how did I get here? What did tell me I am? I need to get out of here, and I hope I don't end up dead.
A couple places. East St. Louis. I ended up just lost in there, and I got pulled over, and they said, you are either here because you're lost or you're buying drugs. So what is it? Oh. And I'm like, I am lost. And they're like, can we help you find the highway?
Yes, you can.
Yes. And then I was also in a big promotional vehicle and ended up in downtown Baltimore. And that was kind of sketchy. It was right near Johns Hopkins. And I'm like, this is back in the, I had to... the cell phone I had was dead, and I had to find a payphone. I was by myself, which,
Oh, and all the payphones smell like prostitutes, too.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you have to call those sex workers, or you'll get a stink eye.
Right.
You stopped at one of the apartment buildings to use a payphone about, the same things that were in The Wire, one of those kind of deals.
Yes.
John, I saw you nodding. What's your worst city?
We had a very odd evening in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
That's
odd evening.
That's on the list.
We went to a ball game, me and my kid, when he was, 10 maybe, the Brewers game, and we took a shuttle. And we missed the shuttle back because he left before the game was over. So we had to catch a ride with a bar shuttle, and the driver said, where you staying? We told him, he said, we'll take you there. No problem. I'll take you there. So we did. And everybody on that shuttle, including the owner of the bar the shuttle was going to, was hammered.
Okay.
And the owner of the bar said to me, my kid's sitting beside me, 10 years old, maybe. He goes, hey, you guys want to stop in and have a beer? No, thanks. So the guy, very nice driver, took us back to our hotel, and I threw him a $20 bill, and we had an SA beside the hotel.
Okay.
And I said, let's go get some chips or something.
Sure.
So we walk in there, and there are two people out front, obviously just out of their minds, talking to themselves about, killing other people.
Yeah,
obviously high on something.
Obviously.
I go in, and there's two guys working, both of Mideastern descent, who told me just to ignore the guys out front. They're always there.
Yeah, they're on angel dust. Just ignore them.
Oh, yeah,
it didn't make me feel any better because we had to walk a block back to the hotel.
Yeah.
So I told Dylan, I said, just ignore. Just ignore those. And he's scared out of his mind. He's 10 years old.
As we walk down Angel Dust Alley here.
Yeah. So we went back to the hotel and we were very happy, ate our chips, and went to sleep. So
for me, it was two places: New Haven, Connecticut. We turned around in a parking lot that was filled with gang members, and they all came at us. So I got out of there in a damn big hurry. The other one, believe it or not, was Philly, and we could see downtown from the freeway. We knew we had to get downtown.
Yeah.
And so we just took a random exit. And oh my God, it was 10 minutes of the most scary, all old brownstones, but all decrepit, brownstone buildings,
yeah,
nice.
Of course.
At one time, beautiful, but now just assholes with people sitting out on the steps, just yelling and screaming at us and walking out, trying to get us to stop. And it was a deal like when you were in East St. Louis. It was just, good Lord, get me out of here. Mm-hmm. And I really have a really negative opinion about everything related to Philly. And it's all based on that one trip in the mid.
Were they throwing batteries at you like they do at the ball games?
No, but we did go to Vet Stadium there. And that's where I learned early on that people that live in Philly and sports fans from Philly, they're all just jackasses.
Oh, totally.
All of them.
Scary.
Yeah, well known to be jackasses.
And Ross, you confirm that?
Oh yeah, 100%. They're awful. You don't ever wear the opposing team stuff there.
Yeah.
Well, I think we put in a hell of an effort today, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We've gone a little bit over time.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for listening to News from the Crabby Coffee Shop. New episodes drop every week wherever you get your podcasts.